Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Tonight is our Wednesday evening live update, and tonight we're basically going to focus on space weather and a weather report tonight. We'll get right started over at spaceweather.com. Wanted to look at the solar wind speeds. Right now they're elevated slightly to 403.3 kilometers per second. Our density is sitting right around at a 16.5. Taking a look at our sun, we have 0 sunspots once again. That now makes it 11 days without a sunspot. 2018 is now a total of 39 days without sunspots. And there is the coronal hole. By the way, I'd like to highlight real fast. NOAA forecasters say there's a 55% chance of a G1 class geomagnetic storms. Ben Davidson, he did a story on this earlier today. Wanted to reinforce that this is just going to be a minor geomagnetic storm. Nothing major going on with this. The coronal hole is wide and would support a strong solar wind, but however, it's just not large enough for any kind of major impact. Forecasters are looking at a possible G1 on the 14th or 15th, and we should see the solar wind stream for a few days, as this one's a little bit bigger than your average size. So just wanted to point that out real quick. We're not looking at any major solar storms coming to the Earth. I saw a video earlier on YouTube that claimed that we were getting ready to be hit with a massive solar storm. Simply not the case. Take a look at KP indices representing what I'm saying right now. We're sitting at a 3, which is quiet. Our 24-hour max was unsettled as we began to head into that solar wind stream from that coronal hole. And we'll go back to grandsolarminimum.com to take a look at our SDO information. I wanted to show you the progress of the coronal hole here. If I can get it to load. The joys of technology and super speed internet. All right, so we scroll down here to our SDO images. And we don't have anything coming.
That's my fault.
All right. Phone call.
You know, it's like everything's connected these days. So my phone calls come in on my watch, my phone, and whatever computer I have logged in. I'm sorry, Jake.
No problems. No problems. Anyway, my phone went off last night, so no worries. You're not fired.
The thing that sucks is I made it a point to turn my ringer off.
Yeah, what good that did.
It didn't work. So, yeah, woohoo.
So, we're looking at our star. We see that coronal hole, the gash across the face of our sun, and really little to any activity on the far eastern limb of our sun. So very, very quiet right now, which supports the 11 straight days without sunspots. And, you know, here we go. We're starting the stretch a little bit early, I think. So taking a look at our TSI, and this really puts things into perspective. Yesterday, I reported on March 5th's TSI readings. Today, March 6th came in, and there's a slight increase from 1361.128 to 1361.131. So I'm pointing this out because I get asked questions, or people are saying, well, how come, you know, there's more warm records being broken right now, and, you know, whatnot. And folks got to remember, we are just at the very tip of the beginning of this grand solar minimum. And if you can look at daily TSI data and see, just looking at the last 4 days that they've received, we've watched it go from 1361.082 and in 4 days, it's only moved up to 1361.131. So for any of you out there who are looking for the rapid change of the grand solar minimum, the only thing that you're going to witness that is rapid is the crop loss and how much that adds up after we see all these weather events that continue to pound all over the world, not just here in the United States, but everywhere. So in due time, people, be patient. You will start to see things between now and the next 2 to 3 years. The grand solar minimum is only beginning. Things are accelerating, and we have the data to show you as well. Let's take a look at the Earth null once again. I'll go ahead and put this in Fahrenheit so some of us can understand it. And here we're looking at the poles. Negative 21, negative 31.2, negative 26, negative 22, negative 34. And again, we are seeing cold air and cold surface temps everywhere. Oh, we found a hot spot, folks. 16.8 degrees Fahrenheit.
Could you switch that to Celsius so our Celsius lovers can,
absolutely
participate, Jake?
Absolutely. As soon as I'm done with the Fahrenheit. Minus 8 Fahrenheit here, and we have minus 12.9 degrees Fahrenheit. So again, we did find a warmer spot. Let's see if I can find it again. 23 degrees. Now that is balmy, but here we go. 28 degrees, 0.9. I'm moving further south from the Arctic, and still, my point I'm trying to make here, it's 0 degrees there. The point I'm trying to make here, folks, is that even though that we are seeing temperatures above 0 in certain spots of the Arctic, we are not melting by any means. And I switched it over to Celsius for you fine folks that are into metrics, or whatever it is. That's the metric system, right? I honestly wish it was
imperial and the metric.
I wish it was all one. Same with the clocks.
We're the dummies that have to be different with Fahrenheit.
True.
So
So I guess you folks out there who are overseas have a reason to have a decent gripe at least.
Even our neighbors to the north like Celsius. So it's just we're the oddballs with Fahrenheit.
That's right. So. We got to change it up, guys. Sorry about that. So that's a look at our northern hemisphere, and let's take a look at the southern hemisphere while we're at it, huh? While we got it up. And negative 53, that's cold. Negative 54, even colder. Negative 27 Celsius. So looks pretty cold all over the poles here. Negative 32. Stretching to find anything above freezing. Here we go, minus 6. Even out here further away into the waters, we're still negative 3, negative 1. This is all Celsius, and I'll go ahead and leave it Celsius because most of us who read Fahrenheit, I'm not sure they would have an interest in the Antarctic. Let's just say it's a lot colder down here than it is in the north, that's for sure. And still in our summertime forecast here in the southern hemisphere, we do see much of the area in its normal temperatures. Soon, hopefully, the United States will be back in a warm pattern for the spring-summer climate, but it is not looking good so far about spring anytime soon. Wanted to show a couple of snow totals from Skylar. It's the first time I've said her name tonight, but this is NorEaster number 3 in the last 2 weeks, and Skylar has dumped 23 inches in Oakdale, Connecticut, 21.2 in Norwich, Connecticut, and 15.5 in New London. And then you go to areas, even Kentucky gets in on the action, 10.5 inches in Lexington, 2.5 in Louisville. Maine got 30 inches in Little Lyford Pond, and Holden 20.9 inches in Bangor, and they've already had several heavy snow events. This one's probably one of their moderate one, not so heavy. They've seen worse this year. They were kind of spared. 20 inches in Bar Harbor, 14 inches in Portland. Massachusetts, they had a 29.5 in Wilmington, 27.8, 26.6 in Milford, Missouri had 5 inches. New Hampshire had a reading of 28.6 near Deerfield, another 28 in Middleton, and 27 inches in Danville and Raymond. New Jersey, you guys got about 7.5. New York, few of you, 23 inches in Ellenburg, 18.3 in Southampton. I know here in the Buffalo metro area, we got maybe 3 to 4 inches tops. North Carolina, 9 inches at Mount Mitchell State Park. Ohio, just 3.5 inches in Huram. Not a lot of action there. So, as you see, Skylar was not as strong as Riley or Quinn, but still, when you talk about the snow that we've already seen in the Northeast, and then you add these totals on top of it, it's a mess. So I just wanted to bring these snow totals up in the Northeast as we get ready to talk about what's coming our way here in the next several days. Now, we're looking at GFS at the current moment. This system will move off into the Northeast once again, and this is the system that they're watching for the 18th into the 20th, this low pressure system that not there, but the one coming across the 4 quarters on the 18th. And as you see, it develops, it's a pretty big size storm. This is where they think this will turn into NorEaster number 4 within as much as 2.5, 3 weeks. Now, this is not as organized as it was last night, so that's a maybe possibility of a good sign, but it still is hugging the coast. And as we go through till Wednesday of next week, we see this snow line just hugging the coast and literally suffocate. I think it actually combines with another system there on the 21st. So it does look like the coast is going to get hit one more time with some heavy snow, and that adds up with what we're seeing with the Greenland block right now. We're in the negative of the polar vortex, and the forecast for the polar vortex to swing into the positive is right after the 21st, which is right here. Okay, so we see this bit of snow moving off the east coast, moving into the 22nd. We start to see warming to our west, moving into the east, and by the 23rd, the 24th, we start to see this warmer air moving into the northeast. Now, it starts off as snow on this system here, and this is huge. But as we move into the weekend, next weekend, we have warm air. And again, remember, we are going to be in the positive of the polar vortex starting on the 21st. So winter might be fading down here for the people out here in the Northeast. It does get a little bit colder through the northern plains of the United States. But watching the weather here on the 27th, by the end of the month, on the 28th, the 29th, we start to see a warm front. And if you see the red lines, folks, this is representing warmer air, and that's why we're seeing this precipitation as rain and not snow. So there might be some relief on the way for the lower 48. And let's go ahead and take a look at temperature anomalies, and let's just confirm that. That's not what I wanted. They threw me a curveball, I think. There we go. I don't think this is what I wanted either, but all right. Sorry about that, folks. So let me move that back up a little bit more. And here we see, I'm going to start it at the end of the month, because actually I'm going to go to the 21st and start from there. This is where we start to come out of the negative phase of the polar vortex on the 21st. So we'll go ahead and watch the temperatures here from the 21st on. These are evening temperatures right here. As they get warmer, these are your daytime. So we're in the 40s. And evening temperatures dip down just slightly below 40 that night. On Sunday, we get a little bit milder. And look at much of the United States. So this, right now, the GFS and temperatures is showing, it's matching what we're looking at with the polar vortex right now. And that is, we are in the negative phase until about the 20th of March. And then we will be in the positive phase of the polar vortex. That high pressure system will not be up at Greenland anymore, which will allow the jet stream to not have those dips that we've been seeing all winter long that will go as far south as North Carolina, South Carolina, even the deep south. So moving into the positive of the polar vortex right now is definitely a good thing. I know folks here in the United States have seen their share of a winter, and if anything, this just looks like a very promising sign that this next nor'easter system that's coming up on the 20th might be our last big bang here on the east. It still looks like some winter weather possible for the far northwest and in the mountainous regions of the Four Corners, but that is typical this time of year as well. So again, I've heard rumors that someone is claiming that there's going to be a deep freeze after the 21st of March, and that is simply not true. The models for the polar vortex are showing that it'll be in the positive after the 21st, which will give us the milder temperatures that we should be experiencing right now in the month of March. And I'm just going backwards here, the 28th. Again, we see these blue temperatures. That's your nighttime temperatures. Anything in the green and yellow right now is your daytime. And there's a couple days here where we don't see any change from the green at all. So definitely an indicator that GFS, their forecast for warmer temperatures, for spring-like temperatures anyway. I mean, we're still in the 40s and 50s. It's not going to be super warm out, but it does look like we're going to get a break from the winter weather here soon. If we can just kind of hang on for the next 7 to 10 days of winter, spring does look like it's going to make its appearance. But, you know, it's like I told Mario earlier, it's not so much after this, it's not so much the snow, but we're still going to have precipitation to deal with. I mean, here's a look at the map during our warm-up here, and you see a huge system forming once again in a region, the Mississippi Valley, Ohio Valley, that's been flooded out already this year, Kentucky, Tennessee. Like I said, snow in the Four Corner states and the mountainous regions in the far northwest, but other than that, we're still going to be tending with possible flooding situations. And this week, actually, that we're looking at right here, the last week of March, I hope that we just get some moderate warming, because we're still sitting with snow from Riley on the ground here in Buffalo, New York. And on top of that, we've had Quinn and now Skylar. And we're supposed to get some lake effect tomorrow. So other than that, what I'm saying is that if we get a sudden warm up again, and we still have snow on the ground from Riley, that will in itself create flooding problems. So, you know, whether it warms up or cools down, the weather is still going to be bringing challenges all year long. And we're starting to see that evidence every day so far this year. 2018 definitely has jumped off way wilder than 2017. And the end of 2016, in my opinion, is when I started really noticing these very extreme, rare events. Mari, how's the chat doing?
What a lovely group of people we are so blessed to have here at the Grand Solar Minimum channel. We're just talking about the weather. We're talking about what plants we're starting, you know, just basic chit-chat going on. I recommended everyone stop on by Starman's channel after, because he covers over the pond weather. He just posted an update recently. We have Region X Radio, who popped in and said hi and posted a link there. They have an excellent radio program that they just started. So, yeah, great chat.
I'm glad to see Region X in there. And Starman, I just saw he uploaded a UK weather report. So he actually got me out of having to do one, since he does them so well. Honestly, guys, that is the man when it comes to weather overseas. I highly recommend the Starman. Thank you for bailing me out tonight. I'm still not up on my geography, so you've definitely helped me out tonight, Bear. So anyway, I guess with that being said, that's going to conclude our evening update. If there's anything breaking, anything with the solar space weather, anything like that, we will make sure to break through live with any updates here on the Grand Solar Minimum channel. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us once again. We'll talk soon. And there is the coronal hole. By the way, I'd like to highlight real fast. NOAA forecasters say there's a 55% chance of a G1 class geomagnetic storms. Ben Davidson, he did a story on this earlier today. Wanted to reinforce that this is just going to be a minor geomagnetic storm. Nothing major going on with this. The coronal hole is wide and would support a strong solar wind, but however, it's just not large enough for any kind of major impact. Forecast started over at spaceweather.com. Wanted to look at the solar wind speeds. Right now they're elevated slightly to 403.3 kilometers per second. Our density is sitting right around at a 16.5. Taking a look at our sun, we have 0 sunspots once again. That now makes it 11 days without a sunspot. 2018 is now a total of 39 days without sunspots. Forecasters are looking at a possible G1 on the 14th or 15th, and we should see the solar wind stream for a few days, as this one's a little bit bigger than your average size. So just wanted to point that out real quick. We're not looking at any major solar storms coming to the Earth. I saw a video earlier on YouTube that claimed that we were getting ready to be hit with a massive solar storm. Simply not the case. Taking a look at KP indices representing what I'm saying right now. We're sitting at a 3, which is quiet. Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Tonight is our Wednesday evening live update, and tonight we're basically going to focus on space weather and a weather report tonight. We'll get right